Glad to see that I can still overhead press 40 kilos. Not only that, I can do that for 5 repetitions, and I was able to do 3 sets of these. Looking at the form, it looks pretty clean. I was posing at the bottom, exploding up, the bar wasn't traveling too far away from my face. This is the last rep of the first set. A little sticking point, but the strength, let's call it, was there. And I was jumping straight into a superset of the neutral grip pull-ups, getting as many repetitions as possible with good form. I was doing, I believe, 10. And the idea behind this was, since my hands are pronated on a straight bar for the overhead press, jumping into a pull-up variation that does not involve the same kind of pronation slash supination of the wrist is a good idea. It's deloading that particular orientation of the wrist, and since I have some issue with the wrist recently with my handstands, wanted to keep it as injury risk free as possible. This is the second set that I recorded. Looking at the technique, it looks pretty clean. The last rep, I was still getting good extension in my shoulders. I was controlling the weight down, and overall I'm very satisfied with the way that they look. And the same I can say about the pull-ups. The aim for this was to get my chest up to the bar, touching the bar at every repetition, and as soon as I wasn't able to do that anymore, that was the end of the set. I could technically probably still do a few more repetitions with some keeping or some cheating, but I don't want to do that. I want to keep the form as straight as possible. And then I went into a jumping experiment that I kind of left off a week ago, which is double foot jumping, but alternating the penultimate stride. So I was going one off the right foot and one off the left foot. Now, it's very easy for me to have a right penultimate stride. This is the way that I've always been jumping, and what I wanted to start implementing, even just for the sake of coordination, was to swap the penultimate stride to something that I've never done before. And I don't really think that this is going to necessarily improve my jumping ability, but it might have something to do with coordination. And if I can add these to more specifically higher intensity jumps, who knows, when I pair these with stuff like high pulls and swings and even squats, I'm thinking that now as the weather improves, I'm gonna start doing some sprinting, because as I've been gaining weight over the last months, I noticed that my running has got slower. I was playing football last week, and I definitely felt more encumbered in my accelerations, and now it's the time to work on that with the nice weather coming. Nothing really to say about the jumping technique. I wasn't really taking many steps to approach the jump, and the height wasn't really that challenging, but it's something that I'm going to progress. And the accessory for the jumping is the Nordic curl. I was finally able to do full ones, and I was kind of also happy to see that I had 2 full repetitions in me. Wanted to go for a bit higher volume, so I did another 3 with some assistance. This is also something that progressive weight increase, doesn't matter how slow it is, could actually impact in a negative way, but that could be said about any bodyweight exercise really. Pull-ups would be affected just the same. Still going to consider this one of the main movements that I want to prioritize. And then after a week or so, I decided to try a couple of handstands. I actually did only one. I did extensive warm-up for my wrist, and after a couple of kick-ups, and then I went for some time up. Didn't want to stay too long, just to get back into the heads down position and really focusing on not putting an overextension on the way down. Felt good. Gonna see how it goes. Ciao.